between if you are facing some problems or if you have any kind of difficulties in understanding the subject. Okay, it should not be a one way kind of interaction, it should be a two-way interaction. At least you can speak up with the what was the last topic. Okay, because whenever I am presenting the screen I can't see whether you people are writing something in the chat box or what. I can't see the chat box. Okay, I am on the screen which has been get shared. Anyways, each and every lecture I don't want it to repeat the same things, but it's a fact that nobody is ready to talk. I don't know what's the problem. अगर हम लोग आपके जैसे करेंगे तो कौन पढ़ाएगा आपको? Even if we go on the mute side, okay, then who will teach you if you don't talk? Whether interrupts has been completed? Interrupts?
Yes, yes,
O-
ma'am. Completed.
Okay. So I think this slide also completed. Interconnection structures is the last topic which has been pending. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So yes. Okay. So let us start interconnection structure. If I go in between if I left in between due to the network issue, you may please communicate it to me. Okay. So interconnection structure is the last topic from the unit number 1. Okay. So interconnection structure is nothing but the structure where we are able to connect each and every other components of the computer on a one particular chip that will communicate to each other. Okay. So here this interconnection structure deals with the particular kind of, for example, if this is the motherboard. Okay, so what kind of structure this particular motherboard is following and how the different components are getting connected with each other. Okay, how the component 1, how the component 2, 3, 4, how they are connected with each other, how they are communicating with each other, how the particular components has been placed on one each other so that it can communicate in a better way likewise. Okay, then their paths, which paths they are following. So I told you there are instruction bus cycle, sorry, instruction bus and data bus. Okay, so instruction bus is following the instructions into it while data is following the data into it. Okay, see, both the buses doesn't get mixed with each other, both the buses doesn't get mixed with each other. So while interaction this instruction bus is following some instructions into it, so this is the called as this particular pipeline. Okay, so this is called as the path. Okay, this is the path. From this path it carries the instruction from this place up to this place. So this may be the CPU. Okay, this may be the memory, and this may be something else register. Okay, this may be something called as the register. We have seen this diagram. Okay, I will show you that diagram. Yes, this diagram. Okay, here you can see this is the particular what I can say, this is the particular system bus which they are following, and this system bus carries the data either from the CPU, either from the main memory, and to the input output devices. Okay, so when this data bus or when this instruction bus carries a data from one place, okay, sorry, from one place to another place, when it carries the data, at that time it is following some path. Okay, that is called as the, what I can say, instruction path for the instruction bus, while this is called as the data path if this is the data bus. But this path is very very important. If the path is not known at that time, it is very much difficult to understand the what is the interconnection structure. So such collection of paths, okay, such collection of paths connecting the various modules is called as the interconnection structure. Okay, the collection of the paths which are connecting the various modules is called the interconnection structure. The design of the structure will depend on the exchange that must be made in between the modules. Okay, so which are the modules? Okay, which are the modules? So this is the module from CPU. Okay, this is the module from input output devices. What are the input output devices? And this is the module from main memory. Okay, this is the module from main memory. So if whenever I am carrying some data, okay, whenever I am carrying some data, all of these paths are two-way paths. Okay, all of these paths are two-way paths. So design, okay, design of this particular different modules, okay, which can exchange the data in between them. Okay, that design, that structure is called as the interconnection structure. That means to study of the different components, how the components are connected, which are the components, what are the paths they are following, and how they are connecting with each other. That is known as the interconnection structure. Okay, now see this. These are the computer modules. Okay, this diagram is very important because whenever there is a question on interconnection structure, you need to draw this particular kind of diagram. Okay, you need to draw this diagram. 1 minute. Okay, so this is the memory. Okay, this is the memory. Then this is the input output device, input output module, second module, and CPU is the third module. Okay, now I will draw this particular structure over here. Here somewhere memory module is there, here somewhere input output module is there, and here somewhere your CPU module is there. Okay, so all of these modules, okay, all of these modules are interconnected with each other with some particular bus. Okay, with some particular bus. Okay, and all of these are two-way interconnection structure. Now, first of all, we will see the memory structure. This is the memory structure. This memory structure can save the n words. Okay, it can save the n words. N means n is the any number. Okay, n is the any number. So number can be saved or any particular string. So to save this string, okay, to save this string, there is a specific format. That format is followed. Okay, so this is the nth string. Up to likewise this, we may have n minus 1 string to be stored inside this particular memory. Okay, then this memory may have, if you see, these are the signals. Okay, these are the read and write are the signals, and these are the buses, address bus and data bus. Address bus means which carries the address of the instruction, and this is the read signal to read the particular data or address. This is the write signal to write the address or data. This data bus carries data inside it. Address bus carries instructions inside it. Okay, that means instructions means address of the instruction. It actually does not carry the instruction, it carries the address of that instruction which is going to be get executed. So that address along with the data will go as a input. Okay, it will go as a input over here, and then it will be get processed inside the memory, and then same will be going through the data. ठीक है, अब ये डेटा यहाँ से मेमोरी से आ गया, तो आपकी मेमोरी कहाँ है, यहाँ, यहाँ से आपको क्या मिला है, डेटा मिला है. ठीक है, यहाँ से आपको क्या मिला है, डेटा. Then after this, okay, even though whatever signals it is receiving, the signals are also receiving from the same end. They don't have the different buses with the same interconnection structure. They are interacting with the instruction, they are interacting with the data. Now we will come for the input output devices. So here are the input output devices. Okay, so these are the input output devices. It also has a read and write signal. Okay, it also has the read and write signal with M ports. Okay, M number of ports. So what is the port? Port is something, a socket. Port is something, a socket, or the, what I can say, a plug, where I can able to plug in the different input output things. What are the input devices? Keyboard, mouse are the input devices. What are the output devices? Printers, monitors are the output devices. So to connect these devices, I required the M ports. Okay. So with this port here, if you can see, address bus is common. Okay. Address bus is common for memory as well as input output module. But if you see this data bus, the one is internal data bus, other is external data bus. So internal data bus is something which carries the data from the internal components of the CPU. Okay, what are the internal components of the CPU? Okay, so here whatever data it carries from the CPU, from the memory, from the other components of the computer. Okay, and external data will be carrying that data which came from the external attached devices through ports. So which are those external attached devices? So those attached devices are printers or keyboards, mouse, something like that. So whatever device we enclose through ports, whatever device we will enclose as a port, that is called as the internal and external data. Okay, and then same data will be get processed through this internal data, external data, and here you can see interrupt signals are generated. Okay, what are the interrupts that we have seen in the previous lecture? So interrupt is something, the extra routine, okay, or extra code of instructions that we are processed during the execution of the program. And interrupts are nothing but the disturbances. When we handle those disturbances with the programming construct, that is called as the interrupt. So interrupt signals will be get generated in the input output modules. If you can see this, here interrupt signals will be get generated as a output. Okay, and inside the CPU these interrupt signals will be given as the input. Okay, these signals are given as the input, and here if you see this CPU, it will be carrying the instructions, actual instructions, and data will be only given as input to the CPU. Okay, here I am just giving the addresses to the main memory for the instructions, but actual instructions will be given as input to the CPU. That is the difference between this CPU and the memory. So memory required only address. Memory doesn't concern with the actual instructions, where CPU is actually concerned with the instructions and not the address, because that instruction CPU is having an address, it is getting from the memory. So whatever the things we are getting from as a data, okay, this will be given as input to the CPU. Okay, so here I am getting this input from this, just 1 minute. Yes, here I am getting this input as a data from the, 1 minute, I will clear the slide so that it will be easy to understand. Okay, this data will be given as input to this. Okay, whatever address, okay, whatever address of the instruction I am getting, even that data also I am getting from this instructions from the memory. Okay, these interrupt signals will be get generated from this input output modules. Okay, and this will be the input for the CPU, and then finally CPU generates the address, control signals, and data. Okay, so this address, okay, this address of the next address will be given to this particular main memory. Okay, and for this input output module and for this memory, these read write signals will be get generated by this CPU. So these read write signals will be from the CPU to over here and as well as to over here. So if you see this, this is the interconnection structure, how the computer different modules, input output module, memory module, CPU module. So these are the three modules, how it interconnects with each other, how these signals will go to each other, and then how it will process the data. Okay, only in input output module, you require this internal bus and external bus to carry the data from the internal components of the main memory, internal components of the CPU, as well as from the external components which you are going to attach to the input output module. Okay, I hope this diagram is clear to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, thank you. So whatever I have explained you, the same has been given in this last slide. Okay, so we have reached to the last slide of this particular CO unit number 1. So here, just same, I'm just going to read it. A computer consists of a set of components or modules of three basic types: processor, memory, and input output, that communicate with each other. Okay, these are the different type of units. First unit is memory. It consists of the n words, okay, or words or strings of the equal length. Each word is assigned a unique numerical address. Okay, and word data can be read from or written into the memory, that I have already told you. Okay, so if you see this, even input output devices also, they take the help of this unique address from the main memory, getting the signals, and it will generate the output. Okay, output of the data as external data and internal data, and then it will also generate the interrupt signals. Those interrupt signals will be given as input to the processor. Here it will read an instruction and data, write that into data into the CPU for processing, uses these control signals of read and write to generate the overall control of the overall system, and it also receives the interrupt from the input output devices or modules. Okay, so whatever I have told you just now is same from this computer model. If you understand this, then you can easily able to write the theory about the interconnection structure. So there is always a kind of the short note kind of question in NSEM examination, or maybe in the T1 examination. But now what I feel is your T1 examination will be, I think, MCQ based examination. So there will be MCQ kind of questions into it. Okay. So that's the end from my side. Okay. Thank you so much. We have completed our unit number 1. And now the forum is open for you. If you have any questions related with this particular unit number 1, if you didn't understand any particular topic or something else, then you can discuss it with me. Hello, the forum is open for you guys. If you have any questions, write in a chat box if you have any questions. If you don't have any questions, at least reply with yes, no. What about others? Okay. So if you don't have any questions, then do you want me to discuss something else on unit number one or something? Then otherwise, I have an option that I will start with the unit number two. Okay. Hello. Something means what, Rajneesh? There are so many points from unit number one, so something is not possible. If you have any specific questions, then you can ask. Otherwise, I will start with the unit two. Unit two is computer arithmetic. Okay, computer arithmetic. Okay, chalo. Then I will start with the computer arithmetic. We will see introduction today for the computer arithmetic. So under this unit, computer arithmetic, we will be going to uh, actually going to solve the problems on the computer arithmetic. Okay, how computer understands and how it resolves the problem, that is for us, that we are going to see in the unit number two. And then here we will be also see that what is actually the ALU. Okay, what is actually the ALU? So ALU is something the arithmetic and logic unit. Okay. So in this arithmetic and logic unit, actually, when integers come into the picture or when float into the come into the picture, because when arithmetic come into the picture at that time, it will all the whole thing is residing on the numbers. Okay, so numbers are 0 to 9. Okay, so numbers are 0 to 9. So if you see this, okay, 0 to 9, then here, does computer understands if I write 5 or 4? Does computer understands 5 or 4? No. Likewise, as an integer, it doesn't understand 4 or 5. So if I wanted to write, okay, if I wanted to recognize this 4 as a 4 by the computer, then what computer will do, or what this ALU will do? What is the functionality of ALU? What it will do? It will convert this 4 into binary format. Okay, that means format which is in the form of zeros and ones. Okay, the format which is in the form of zeros and ones. Okay, can anybody tell me why 0 and 1 only? Why not 2? Okay, why not 2? Anybody? Why not 2? Why only zeros and ones? Why computer understands only zeros and ones?
Ma'am, signal is high and low will indicate 0 and 1.
Okay. Anybody? Off and on. Because it represents high, low, on, off. Okay. Okay. Yes, in somewhat manner that is true. Okay, because your computer understands this computer arithmetic in terms of the high and low bits. Okay, even whatever opcode generates for the instructions for those all opcodes. Okay, these computer arithmetic operations will work in that fashion. Okay, that will be work in the zeros and one format, and that will also starts with the integers and floating number. So in unit number 2 we will be looking for what is ALU is. Then we will be looking for addition and subtraction of the signed number and unsigned number. So what are the signed number, what are the unsigned number, that we will see. Then we will be also going for the multiplication of the positive number, then sign operand multiplication, Booth's algorithm, fast multiplication, division, floating point, how to represent the floating point number in IEEE standards. So that is something all we are going to study in unit number 2. Even though the syllabus is, if you see, only 2 line syllabus is there, but still that syllabus, it will going to take some time because we are actually going to solve some examples on it. Okay, so this whole thing is arithmetic kind of thing, that is analytical kind of, unit number 2 is analytical kind of subject, and it is very interesting. Actually, it's very interesting one. So we will see now some part about the ALU. Okay. Let me just give me just 2 minutes. I will open up the basic PPT. Okay. Just 1 minute. I'm opening it up. Okay. Till the time it opens, आप सब लोगों ने VOLP से कंटेंट एक्सेस कर लिए? Everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Now it's opened. Now I will share this. Okay, is it visible? Okay, is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Visible.
So yes, these all notes are from the William Stallings. Okay, this book of William Stallings I have shared on the VOLP. You may please download it and please go through the contents. Okay, so what this ALU does? ALU does the calculations. Okay, what kind of calculations? All kind of calculations, like your addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, fast multiplication, fast division, for the signed number, for unsigned number, everything it does. Okay. This is the one of the important unit in the computer, without which actually your computer will not work. Means what? The whole computer is actually, what I can say, residing on the mathematics. Without mathematics, the computer cannot get executed. Okay, so everything works in a mathematical form. So because of that, is this ALU unit is very very important. Okay, this ALU unit is very very important. Then it handles the integer. Okay, it handles the integer kind of data, it handles the float kind of data. Then it able to separate the FPU, maths coprocessor. Okay, FPU is something the maths coprocessor, where it is actually separated by uh, the chip itself, which is on the arithmetic logic unit. But you don't worry about this maths coprocessor. We don't have to see what it is. Okay. Then all of the elements of the computer system, these actually, what are the elements of the computer system? Control unit, registers, memory, input output devices. What is their main task? To bring the data, okay, to bring the data from all of these components and take it to the ALU for the processing, and then again take back the results. That is what is going on inside the computers. So all of these electronic components, all of these components in the ALU, these are based on some of the simple digital logical devices. Okay. And these devices store the data in binary digits. Okay. Whatever electronic devices we are using, okay, all of these devices are able to store the data in a digital format, which is in a binary digits 0 and 1. Okay. So that is a kind of boolean operations which are in the form of on and off, which are in the form of 0 and 1. That is why whole data which computer understands is in the format of 0 and 1. Okay. That is why your data will be in the form of 0 and 1 and not in the 2, 3, 4, and 5. So for storing this 0 and 1, we required some of the temporary storage locations. Okay. So these locations are there in the processors, okay, which are connected with the paths, signal paths to the ALU. So we have just studied what are the data paths, what are the instruction paths. Okay. So all of these data will be taken up from the temporary storage to the particular ALU unit from the paths. Okay. And when data is going on, flag is set to 1. And if data is not there, then flag is set to 0. Okay. For example, if we are using AND gate, NOR gate, NAND gate, so for that purpose, it will also work in the 0 and 1 format. So that is why your arithmetic logic unit will be completely work on the Boolean data, that is in the form of 0 and 1. Okay. So this is the ALU, arithmetic logic unit, which has this control unit, okay, which has this control unit to send the control signals. Okay, to send the control signals. These registers are there to save the temporary data. Okay, to save the temporary data. So it takes the data, process it, and again takes the result as output through the registers only. Okay. When processing going on inside ALU, flag is set to 1. Okay. This flag is set to 1 when data is on. Okay. And flag is set to 0 when data is off. Okay. This is the basic functionality of ALU unit. This control unit will generate the read signal to read the contents of the registers. Then it will process it, and when it will also generate the write signal to write the result to these registers. Okay. So this is something the functionality of the ALU, where input and output will be get performed. Okay. With the help of the registers control unit to generate the control signals and the flags. Okay. And the flags. Okay, so computers can only able to represent the data in 0 and 1s. Okay, so here we have represented the positive number stored in the binary format. So number is 41. So is this correct? 41? 1, 2, 4, 8, 16,
Yes, ma'am.
32. So here 32. Okay, this 32 plus 8 plus 1. How much? 41. Okay. So this is how I had represented a positive number in a binary format. Okay. Right now there is no minus sign. There is no period. There is no sign magnitude. There is no two's complement of the number. Okay. Two's complement will invert the number. Okay. That we will see later on in the next upcoming slides. What are the two's complement? Okay. Or how to represent the number in sign magnitude, or how to represent the number in minus likewise. Okay. So right now, in the binary number system, the arithmetic numbers or any, sorry, in the binary system, any arbitrary numbers, okay, any arbitrary numbers can be represented with just the digit 0 and 1. So minus sign and the period or the radix point are nothing but the what I can say, the extra things which we are going to add it in while representing the integers. Okay. So now today what we will do? Okay, 1 minute. Can you represent 128 in binary format? Okay. Whether this 00100 is 8-bit number?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So most of the times we are performing the arithmetic operation on the 8-bit numbers. ठीक है. अगर मुझे 18 रिप्रेजेंट करना है तो how I will represent the 18? 18 will be 000100010. Am I correct? 16 plus 2 is 18. Okay. So this is the first 4-bit number. This is the another 4-bit number. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So this is the first 4-bit number. What if I wanted to represent this as minus 18? So how will I represent the minus 18? Okay. Can anybody have any idea?
MSB 1.
Okay. Very correct. So this is your MSB bit. Okay. This first bit is your MSB bit. So if I write this as 1 0 0 1 0 0 1 0. Okay, this is the first 4-bit, this is the last 4-bit. So this is the representation of minus 18. Okay, so this first bit, MSB bit, is called as the sign bit. Okay, it's called as the sign bit. So when this sign bit is 0, it represents the positive number, and when this sign bit is 1, it represents the negative number. Okay, it represents the negative number. Okay, you got it, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. चलो ठीक है then. Okay, so I think for today this is sufficient. Tomorrow we will go for the two's complement representation. How we will go for the two's complement and likewise that we will see tomorrow. So I think that's the end for today's lecture. Okay. Any problem? Any problem in today's lecture? Second unit we have started. Okay. Within 1 or 2 days, I will share the C part of unit number 1. Okay. I will design some MCQ questions and some of the descriptive. Okay, that is subjective questions. So 6 will be MCQ questions and 4 will be the subjective questions. Subjective question यानी उसका आंसर वन लाइन का ही होगा या फिर वन वर्ड का होगा, but you need to answer it. Okay, and I will be giving you the 3 or 4 days deadline to solve the C part 1. Okay, so yes, that's the end from my side, guys. Now if you don't have any problem, then you can mark your attendance in the chat box. Okay.
Ma'am, what is the VOLP code for the class?
I had given a beta last time VOLP code. You haven't joined till date.
No, ma'am, I was not attending the lectures.
Why?
Ma'am, my dad expired, so I was in with him.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. ठीक है. I will share it in the chat box right now. Huh?
Okay,
Just
ma'am.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm opening it up. Yes, please note down the code. Okay, VCRZC4. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, welcome, beta. And you may please take care.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Everyone has marked the attendance. If you have marked your attendance, then you may leave. Okay. Okay, everyone has marked the attendance. Swapnil, Mrudula, 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 are you there?
हेलो मैम।
हाँ श्रेयस.
मैम अटेंडेंस मतलब चैट में ड्रॉप करने की है क्या? मैं डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया था।
हाँ हाँ डालो.
ठीक ठीक है।
Mohit, Swapnil, Mrudula.
Yes, ma'am.
What about you?
मैम वो
Have you
अटेंडेंस
marked your
का
attendance?
नो मैम।
डालो फिर attendance
मैम वो लेफ्ट
chat
हो रहा
box
था,
में.
वो नहीं आ रहा था वहाँ पे।
क्या नहीं आ रहा है?
मतलब
अभी
वो
डालो।
चैट। हाँ अभी डाल रहा हूँ मैम।
मृदुला।
यस मैम।
यस, आपकी अटेंडेंस दिख गई है मुझे, ठीक है। स्वप्नील। स्वप्नील। हेलो, अटेंडेंस हो गई आपकी मार्क करके? मोहित आपका हो गया है। स्वप्नील। स्वप्नील।